Hi everyone, so I thought I would just make a quick video to show how an easy way for you to check your diastasis, or if you have a diastasis after birth, which is the separation of the front muscles here. So essentially you've got muscles that run right the way down the front of your tummy called the rectus abdominis. Think about the six-pack kind of look, if you like. And when we are pregnant, those muscles obviously stretch with the growing bump, and they can kind of separate when your belly gets bigger, and they can kind of separate here. More often than not, even if they do kind of separate a little bit, sort of 6 to 8 weeks after birth and or a bit longer, they'll kind of gently start to knit back together again. But sometimes we can be left with a bit more of a gap, and that is something that Pilates is excellent in terms of drawing those muscles back together again, and why you have to be really safe when you are exercising postnatally. Even if you've got a bit of a separation, then sometimes often it's just time that you need in order for those muscles to knit back together, and to be very careful about the exercises that you are doing so you don't make it any worse. So in terms of this video, I thought I would just show you a safe and easy way to check for yourself. Obviously always try and get a professional to check for you if you are worried. But at these times that we're in at the minute in 2020, with the pandemic going on, it's quite hard sometimes to get out to get things like this checked, and it's actually really, really important. So I'll try my best to explain a way to do it. You must always, if you can, be rolling in and out of bed, off the floor, onto your side, okay, and then rolling, using your arms, kind of rolling onto your back. You want to try and keep any pressure out of this area, because then you're putting pressure into those rectus abdominis there, okay? So what you need to do is kind of come down onto your back and take a lie down, have your feet into the floor. And what we're looking for is kind of tension into the tummy here. So the best way to do is to take one hand back behind your head to support your head and neck, and then get your kind of fingers and kind of have them down, and try and find around your belly button. You might have to go underneath your clothing. So try and find your belly button, because that's often the weakest spot. And then kind of pull your tummy in, and then gently take your head and shoulders off the floor, so you are contracting those muscles. You might have to come up a bit further, because you really need to try and contract those muscles so you can feel the ridges on either side of those rectus abdominis that run down the front. And what you're looking for is any kind of gap, okay, in the middle. And you might have to then take your fingers up and see if there's any gapping at the top, and then take them down lower towards your pubic bone area as well, and then come down. So don't kind of hover there for too long, and then try again. So you might have to come underneath your clothes. So find the belly button, kind of try and draw the tummy in, take the head and shoulders off and curl up. And what you're trying to find is the ridges on either side of your rectus abdominis. If you've got a gap there, can you fit 1 or 2 or maybe 3 fingers in? If you can get 2, 3 or more in there, and you feel like it's a real gapy hole, then you have got a sort of official diastasis rectus, okay? So there's a separation. If you can kind of, if it's quite tricky to get 2 fingers or 1 finger, that feels okay, and any smaller, then you're absolutely fine, okay? So that is the easiest way to check your diastasis, okay? So always try and roll onto your side and push yourself back up to sitting. So really, there's lots more research and information around this area that you need to kind of be aware of. But essentially, just by finding that tension, you're trying to find the ridges that are lying to either side, kind of the ridges there and there. And if you've got a gap that's kind of 3 fingers or 2.5, 3 fingers bigger, then you need to be very careful about the exercises you're doing. No pulling up through the rectus abdominis like curl-ups, okay, or sit-ups, no kind of plank positions, being very careful about putting any inter-abdominal pressure into that area. And you just really need to take your time with that. If you've got quite a large separation, then then you need to have that maybe officially diagnosed by a women's health practitioner or your GP. And finding a physio or Pilates teacher that can really help you rehabilitate and knit those muscles back together again is really important. Okay, so try it out, give it a go, and hopefully that is a little bit helpful for you in terms of that condition.